Hey, book besties. Welcome to More Than a Book Club podcast. I'm your host, Leyna.
And I'm your other host, LJ. And we're snowed in. Okay, we're not snowed in.
Woohoo!
We're iced
in.
Well, I mean, it's not the same.
It's not, because snow is pretty and you can walk and drive in it, and ice is just no bueno. My husband did take my son out to go practice driving because he's 17 and he's never driven on anything snowy or icy before. So they went out to the parking lot and just practiced going around. And then they couldn't get the car back up the driveway because we have a really steep driveway.
Yeah, you do. I'm impressed. Like, I would be worried going down the driveway, just sliding right down.
Well, I was a little bit worried that they were going to take my car because my car is parked in the garage and then my son's car is parked on the driveway. And I was like, if they're going to take mine, is it going to hit his car on the way out?
But right?
Oh, he took his car. No. So, yeah.
Did they go yesterday?
They went today.
Today, okay. Because I was like, since we got more precipitation yesterday, you wouldn't want your car to be covered if it hadn't been covered already. So, very cool. Well,
but yeah,
speaking of being iced / snowed in, like a lot of the country, it's like basically every state has some except for Florida and
Who
Hawaii.
knows? Because sometimes Florida does get snow.
It's true. And
or
the panhandle,
ice or, cold anyway.
Yeah.
Hawaii, you never know. Haleakala could have snow.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it does. But anyway, what are we talking about, though, because of this?
We are talking about wintry weather books. So I don't know how you interpreted this, but I interpreted this as books that take place in the winter, but then maybe also make you think of winter.
Okay, that's fair. Mine all take place in winter. So,
okay.
I mean, I guess to me that means I think of winter. Although if we were adding that, I would throw in some others. We'll see if you mention them.
Okay.
I bet I know one you're going to say. But anyway, I can think of a couple. I'm going to write them down so that I don't forget. But anyway, let's see here.
And I will start this episode off by saying I did have a seizure in the last week, and I did bite my tongue. So if I'm talking funny, that is why. You're not imagining it. I am possibly talking funny. I feel like I'm talking funny. I feel like I am talking with a big ol' hole in my tongue, but that's okay.
You don't sound weird, though, so that's good.
So I'm curious, as I was looking through, I did my books, and then I went through and looked at your notes. We have some of the same books on here.
I saw that. Did you see that on one? Because I had glanced over while you're doing it. I go, Leyna's got this one, LOL. I wrote that on one of them. So, all right. Do you want to start?
Sure. I'll start. My first book that I have on here is No Exit by Taylor Adams. And it is one that you have on your list as well. This was a book of the month pick, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? It was a while ago. Taylor Adams went to my alma mater, however you say that word.
I did not know that.
Eastern Washington University. Go Eags. So they graduated from our English program. So I thought that was really cool. And they live in Cheney, Washington, which is one of my friends just got voted city council member for Cheney, Washington.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. But this was a really good book. I remember at the time I had mixed feelings about it, but the further away I get from it, the more I like it. And so I wonder if that has anything to do with like the fact that they went to my school.
Okay. Do you want to give them the little backstory, the little blurb of what it is about that one?
So I'm going off of my memory here, but this is, there's the main character. She is traveling home, I believe.
I think so too.
There's a big snowstorm. She gets stuck at a rest stop because the road is closed. So if you're from Washington State, you've probably traveled over some passes, some mountain passes where they require chains. Sometimes they'll close the passes whenever it gets too snowy and icy. This is the case where it happened for this person. She's stuck at this rest stop. There's all these other people there. She can't get out, can't leave, and she discovers that there is a person, a little person, a kid, trapped in the back of it was a van, right? And so she's
In a
trying to figure
cage.
out in a cage. So she's trying to figure out who the van belongs to, who kidnapped this child, and how to rescue the child. So there's a lot of things going on here, but she doesn't want to get caught. And whoever did this has kidnapped a child and is keeping them locked in a cage. What are they capable of? So it's kind of this, mystery that you're trying to figure out in real time while there's a
Yes.
snowstorm going on, while there's other people there that you don't know if you can trust them or not trust them, who's safe, who's not safe, that kind of stuff.
So I read this book and I had a very strong reaction to one scene in this book that I just can't get over. And so I won't tell you the context of how this happens, but there is a point where like all of her fingers get broken on a hand with a
Oof.
door and they're like hanging in the description. I could not get past that. And that like ruined the book for me because for whatever reason, the description was too much for me. And I know you're all thinking true crime, horror book, all this, but we've talked about I don't necessarily like the in-depth descriptions. And I just, it just makes me, but I agree. Aside from that, like if I ignore that, it was a very fast pace. I read it. I think I didn't get it from Book of the Month. I read it. I think it was on Kindle Unlimited. And I read it because one of my friends had posted, like a lot of my friends were posting about it, like not just readers and saying how they read it in like one day or one sitting. And I was like, "Oh, okay, this was during my like read maybe multiple books a day." And so I do remember I could not put it down. It is super fast paced. And I've read a few more of hers, or at least maybe two more of hers. And I really liked them as well. She's good at writing a fast paced thriller. So, but I do think
Yeah,
it probably like
I haven't read anything else. Yeah.
I like her more knowing your connection to her. So
I know. I just thought that was so cool. I was like, how often does someone from Eastern Washington University
yeah,
and
I know. I'm going to go look and see what there is another one about a bridge or something that I remember I think I gave it 5 stars by her. But I can look that one up later. All right,
but
so
because that one happens in a snowstorm, whenever we mentioned winter, that immediately like zoned in on my
yeah,
brain. I was like, no exit.
absolutely. All right, let me see. I read Hairpin Bridge. That's the one I read, and it kept me on my toes. And it looks like, is that snow on there? Or no, that might just be rain. So yeah, this takes place in Missoula, Montana. So
Okay.
anyway, so yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it has anything to do with snow, but that's the other one of hers that I read. All right, I am going to say that my first one I'm going to say is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, who I believe she was made famous primarily from The Guest List several years back. And this was one I think at the time the Guest List was like her only like her first popular book, and I think The Hunting Party might have been her only other release at that point. So I read it with our friend Emily, and here is the little blurb about it. So, The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley is a murder mystery novel about a group of old Oxford friends who reunite for a New Year's celebration at an isolated lodge in the Scottish Highlands, only for one of them to be found dead after a blizzard traps them inside. The story uses multiple narrators and shifts between the past and present to reveal long held secrets, resentments, and betrayals, making everyone a suspect in the death of one of their own. It's a classic country house mystery. So I don't remember a whole lot. What I do remember is, I mean, it was very much in the winter. There was some very intriguing stuff. I remember ultimately feeling like it didn't go hard enough. Like maybe she was testing the, I mean, it was the first book. I mean, I don't know. But I feel like there were some twists, like opportunities at twists that she missed or didn't take. But otherwise, I mean, if you want one where you're like, I am out in the middle of nowhere snow, kind of like No Exit, you're going to be out in the middle of nowhere snow with your friends that sounds a lot like they're frenemies.
And I'm looking at her list now, Lucy Foley, and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of her books are right around the 3.6 to 3.9 range.
Yes.
I know for me, her books are real hit or miss, and
Yeah.
mostly miss.
That's
Honestly,
fair.
they're
That's
just
fair.
not my favorite. I think that I've read The Hunting Party, I've read The Guest List. I've read The Paris Apartment. I've read The
Mm-hmm.
Midnight Feast. So several of her books now. And they're, I don't know. I don't
feel
know if it's
like
just that she's missing something or what the issue is that I have with them.
I think so. I never read the last one, but I think because like The Guest List felt somewhat casual-ish. The others felt very like trying to be literary thriller. And maybe that's why, because like I always enjoy whatever the twists are because I don't see them coming, but I can understand they're not fast reads necessarily. They're slower. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I
wasn't
mean, I
something that I
wouldn't say
flipped
like she's not
through
for
and
me.
yeah.
She's not like a must-read author for me anymore. All right.
And I
Anyway,
think at first she was for me, and
yeah,
that's where it got kind of bogged down. I know a lot of people love her, so
yeah,
take that with a grain of salt.
yeah, yes, yes. All right, you're up.
All right, I'm going to say The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna.
I need to read that. I need to read that.
So Kristen Hanna is just a phenomenal author to begin with. I don't know, have you read much of hers?
Yes, I have read like a bunch of it. I've read the Nightingale. I've read Firefly Lane, the sequel to Firefly Lane. I read the one about the Dust Bowl that I hated, The Four Winds.
Oh, The Four
There was
Winds.
what was the one after it that oh, Vietnam,
The
the
Women?
women, that one. Yes, I am a Midnight Road or something like that. It's about like I think like some teenagers like crash and die like on this dangerous road or something. Anyway, yes,
I don't
I've read a
know.
lot of hers.
Okay.
I'll look it up. You keep talking.
So The Great Alone, it takes place in Alaska, and it centers around one main character who moves to Alaska with her family when she's young and then kind of grows up in Alaska in the bush basically. And it's about her kind of coming on her own. It came out as this around the same time as, was it Education? The book about
Yes,
the girl
yes.
who was in Montana who had like the family that was stay at home and they
Mhm.
homeschooled her, came out around the same time. And this felt like a fictionalization of education, but without all of the politicalness to it. Because the
Okay.
family goes to Alaska to kind of escape the confines of normal life in the lower 48. And they go to Alaska and they get to have their homestead and they get to kind of do what they want. But there's a lot of, I don't know, you probably call it abuse. There's a lot of
Mhm.
abuse. So there is that in this book. And then there's also, as she comes of age, as she has her own children or child, kind of what happens with her, what happens with her life. It just goes through all of the different stability and instability of her and kind of what home feels like and what she wants that to be for her child. Um, it was a really good read. It does take place in Alaska, so a lot of it does take place in winter because
Well,
Alaska.
yeah.
But it was so good. And I will say it's Kristen Hanna has so many good books. This is probably one of my more favorite of her books.
Ooh.
I have not read The Four Winds. I
Okay, here's the
I
thing. I still
have
gave
that.
it
I
5.
literally have it like up here.
Okay. Yeah. I gave it 5 stars. Like it is a
Mhm.
5-star book. And I don't know, that one is one that I would say like as I read it, I felt the frustration and the desperation of the characters so much that it was just like my brain was like, I get it, you're beating a dead horse. But perhaps that was an accurate reflection because it's a long book and I wanted to throw it against the wall. But like at the end, I still had to give it 5 stars because it is a phenomenal book. It's just one that was maybe, I mean, I really think she just did a really good job of making the reader feel the fresh, which is the sign of a good writer, right? So, but yes, I did not love that. I gave it 5 stars, but I didn't love it.
I've
The
heard that it's a really good book, but that it's very depressing.
it is.
And so
Yes.
I have it, but I have not read it because I'm like, I don't know if I could handle that right now.
Yeah, save it.
And I've been saying that for a few years.
Okay, the other one that I was talking about was Night Road. And I give that one 5 stars. And it's like, there is like an accident, a tragedy on like Night Road. And I
don't
I
think I've
remember
read that
very
one.
little. It's really good. I need to read The Great Alone. I have it. I've had it for years, and kind of like you've had, you know.
Maybe you read The Great Alone. I'll read The Four Winds.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
Sounds great. Okay, I'm going to talk about one next that was kind of popular a year ago, and it's kind of going to fall into the winter/winter Olympics. And I'm talking about The Favorites by Lane Fargo. And it's a novel about elite figure skaters Katarina Shaw and Heath Roca, a duo who become Olympic champions with intense chemistry before a shocking incident ends their partnership. With a documentary forcing them to confront their past a decade later, the story follows their rise from childhood sweethearts to global sensations, exploring their turbulent relationship and the truth behind their downfall through Kat's first-person perspective and interviews from a documentary. It's described as a compelling, pulpy story with a focus on their competitive world and obsessive bonds. And it says released in early 2025. So it's about some ice dancers. And what was kind of fun for me, as you know, I was an ice skater when I was younger, and I was not an ice dancer. I did have to there were some of the group classes, like there were one specific for that, and like my mom made me take one because it was like good to help you be more graceful, even if you, and to learn some of the edges and things like that. But yeah, it was really good. And it was listed somewhere as a romance, and I would say I don't think it's that. I don't, because there is a romantic element, but did not drive the plot, in my opinion.
Was
but
it
was
more
really
about
good.
the competition, or what was it more about?
I mean, I guess kind of in the relationships between not just guy and girl, but like just the people in that world of figure skating, of ice dance, competitive ice dance. And it was really cool because we've seen, podcast inspired books, like where we have the podcast inserts. And then thinking back to what is the Leanne Moriarty book, that where it's like the detectives interviewing them and then it goes into the story. The really popular one, the first one that everyone like jumped on. And Reese Witherspoon was in the adaptation. You know what I'm talking about? I can't think of the name of it.
Where it's the school and
Yeah. Yes. What is the name of that? How am I forgetting this?
My gosh. Okay, I'm gonna Google this.
I am too. Oh my gosh, just give me a list.
Big Little Lies.
Yes, that's the one. Big Little Lies. Yeah, so that one, I would say it's a similar style to those, or like any of the books.
I really liked Big Little Lies. And for some reason, ice dancing does not sound intriguing to me. So I had kind of put that aside. I know you said it was good, but I was like, oh, she was an ice skater.
It's not so much like describing the ice skate. It's kind of like how Heated Rivalry is the hockey show with the least amount of hockey ever. Like, I didn't learn any hockey terms from that show. And P.S., I've watched it twice. So.
Might they talk about a hat trick? Do you know what a hat trick is?
No. No.
When you get 3 goals in one game.
No idea.
It's a big deal. And everybody throws their hats onto the ice.
No. Did that happen in it?
I feel like Ilya gets a hat trick.
I mean, he probably did. He's amazing. I mean, probably. But anyway, yeah. Which, by the way, if you want access to our episode about Heated Rivalry, you got to join our Patreon at the $3 or $5 level. Is it already out there?
That's per month. It's out there. That was what I was editing when I had the seizure. So I have PTSD from it, but
yeah,
we're gonna get it out there.
It like triggered a seizure because she was so
I had a seizure because of this, y'all. Give me $3.
You were just thinking about Ilya and Shane and this is a completely off-topic thing, but I saw a reel that talked about why everyone's obsessed with them. Is that, first of all, in real life, they are opposite of their character personalities. And second of all, with Ilya, he likes girls and guys. So we're all like, oh, we have a chance.
Right? He can say Hollander.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That Russian voice, masterpiece.
And it's not okay. We've already talked about this, but it's
I know,
not
you have
his
to,
real voice.
it's not. Like, his voice is so much higher pitched.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my
and he's
gosh.
so goofy in real life. He's adorable. Like, I want them to be together in real life. And maybe they are,
I
and I kind
know.
of hope they are, but like, I feel like maybe they're not. But they're
They're so
so
cute and young,
Like,
though. Like,
they are,
yeah.
but I'm like, you have to stay, at least they have to stay best buds forever in real life.
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope so too. All right, anyway, back to this. So yes, The Favorites by Lane Fargo. We got the Olympics coming up. When this episode drops, that will
Yeah, it's the
be
Olympics.
the week before. So at the end of this week ish, I think, is when the opening ceremony. So there you go.
I love the opening ceremonies. Like, that is, I will watch nothing else. Like, definitely going to watch the opening ceremonies, the parade of nations, all of that. I think it's so cool.
See, and I'm the opposite. I will completely forget to watch the opening ceremonies, and then I will just watch the ice skating. Well, actually, I like watching the skiing. I'll watch what's on.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
yeah,
yeah.
it's
All
different
right.
now. I feel like whenever we used to have like cable, it would be this is what's on TV, so I'm going to watch it. But now that it's you have to click to it, I don't watch it as much.
Although, do you have Peacock? Because I think it's streaming live there, which is nice because I have that.
Yep, I'll be watching it. All
right. All
right,
right, you're up.
Okay, let's see here. The Frozen River.
So good.
This is a historical fiction book by Ariel Lawhon. I want to call her Lawhorn, but that's not right. Lawhon. Lawhon. This is a book that my mom read in like 24 hours. She loved this book. I loved this book.
I loved this book.
It was so amazing. And it's about a midwife in the 1700s, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm just going to say 1700s. Y'all can Google for verification, but it was so well done. This midwife she's her own person. She has a husband who supports her, and then some bad things happen, and she ends up going to court, basically. And so the case is about her being a midwife, about her life, about her court case, about the supposed rape that has happened. And this is all historical fact. Like, you can go and find the historical cases, where it was tried, all of the stuff. You can read all of the stuff. LJ's holding up a paper. I was like, what is that saying? But it was such a good book. And it does, I want to say it's Massachusetts. It might be New Hampshire. It's somewhere in the Northeast. We'll just call it the Northeast.
Maine. It's in Maine.
Maine. So it's definitely winter in Maine. And I think that she uses the frozen river to access different patients because the river has frozen over and she's able to access them more easily. It was just such a good book, and the ending was so well done. It was one of those books that, like, at the end, I'm like, yes! You
will be satisfied. Yes. And
so
while some of the stuff may not have happened, it is based on a real person.
Yes. So we tend to think that the ending didn't actually happen the way it did in the book. We'd like to think that there's some,
creative liberty.
Yes. Some licensing.
Actually, I hope it ended. I hope
that it did end up. That would be perfect if it did.
But I feel like that would be perhaps noted somewhere in history, in a journal or something. I don't know. But whatever.
But y'all need to read that book so that you can see the ending of that. And it was a quick read. And when I say my mom read it in 24 hours, she is not a slower reader, but she doesn't get hooked as fast. And she was like, this book hooked me. It had all the elements there. It had the historical fiction. It had the mystery. It had the, what's going to happen. You have all these different components all wrapped into one book, and it was just very well done. So I would highly recommend that one to all of y'all.
It is so good. All right, my turn. Let's see. I have so many options. I am going to give you one that I'm guessing either is or will be more popular soon. And that is Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. And I believe it has an adaptation coming out. I am personally in the middle of His and Hers, which is an adaptation of her book. And apparently I remember nothing because I am 3 episodes in and I remember nothing. I'm like,
I haven't started it yet. I want to, though, because I love Alice Feeney.
Apparently, I don't remember the book at all. Which is fine at all. And so rock, paper, scissors, I do remember the snow, and I remember there's a dog that is safe. Nothing bad happens to the dog, just so you know, because I think I read this either right after Emily or at the same time, and she did let me know the dog is fine. Don't worry, because I always worry. All right, so Rock, Paper, Scissors is a psychological thriller novel by Alice Feeney about a couple, Adam and Amelia Wright, whose marriage is failing as they take a weekend trip to a remote Scottish chapel for their 10th anniversary, where secrets and lies unravel, complicated by Adam's face blindness, which is prosopagnosia, and a mysterious third person. Told through alternating perspectives and interspersed anniversary letters, the story builds suspense with unreliable narrators and a shocking twist, exploring themes of marriage, secrets, and perception. And now that I read that, I remember it was like an Airbnb type thing that had, like a chapel had been turned into it. And the description made it sound really cool. Like, I want to go stay there, but also kind of creepy. But I remember really liking it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5 stars. So I am here to recommend it as a winter reread.
So do we want to go into maybe some honorable mentions? Let's go ahead and I'll name one, you name one.
Okay. Perfect. All right, you go.
The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. Good psychological thriller.
Yes, at a sanatorium turned, which is a convalescence home turned hotel, just so y'all know.
Yes.
Because I didn't know, it's not a sanitarium. Sanatorium and sanitarium are different things, just so you know. All right. I've got one, The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. I got that one from Book of the Month a couple of years ago. And it's a psychological thriller where she's like the new wife in the family. And there's like a game that it kind of has there was a movie that was very similar that I remember. It was like you had to kill, the wife had to either was going to be killed or had to kill someone. Someone had to kill something. I don't know. I never saw it. But anyway, it's kind of got like the Most Dangerous Game, people hunting people vibes, but it takes place in the winter.
Okay. I have 2 Frederick Bachman books. The first one is Anxious People, which is coming out as a movie, I believe, in 2026.
Yay!
So I know that one's going to be good because that was a really good book. And then also Beartown by Frederick Bachman.
Yeah.
It's a hockey book, but it was so good about small town Canada, I believe, or was it Sweden? I don't know. Somewhere not America.
Yes, somewhere not America.
But both of those books were really well done. Frederick Bachman is just a gem.
It's amazing.
Go read all of his books.
I don't think I've read one that I didn't like. So
neither have I. So I would highly recommend all of them. And a lot of them, because I think he's based in Sweden or Iceland or somewhere, one of the Nordic countries. But a lot of his books take place in winter themed times.
Yes, they do. All right, well, you did 2 Frederick Bachman, so I'm going to do 2 Stephen Kings. Woohoo! And both have movie adaptations that I hear are fabulous. So Misery by Stephen King is where this famous author, his car breaks down in the snow and he is quote unquote rescued, or he crashes and he's quote unquote rescued by his biggest fan. And
turns out to be psycho.
And anyway, it's crazy and it's horrific. And I haven't seen the movie. That was one where Stephen King is not particularly graphic necessarily in his descriptions of his horror as much as you would think.
That one, I think, has some
descriptive
parts.
It does. And it was hard to read. And I'm like, there's no way I can handle watching it.
I've seen the movie and it's hard to watch certain parts.
I heard Kathy Bates definitely deserved the Oscar for that.
She did.
Okay, well, good, because
she was unhinged.
She was unhinged. All right, and then the other one is, of course, The Shining, and if you don't know about The Shining, this family goes to be caretakers at this huge hotel in Colorado that shuts down for the winter season, and there's a kid who's kinda psychic, and then there's, like, a dad that goes insane, and it's actually the Jack
It's got
Nicholson one
Jack
that
Nicholson.
yeah, the Jack Nicholson one that does not quite follow the book is phenomenal. I don't care, and I can separate the book from the movie because the adaptation where it follows the book, not as good. So, there you go.
So I went to the Broadmoor
You
this
did, I know,
summer
I'm so jealous.
when we went to Estes Park, and they had all of the Shining stuff out there, and I had no idea that there was a miniseries that was not
Mhm.
Jack Nicholson. So
Yes,
I
from the
learned something
90s,
new
yeah.
that day. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, what else you got?
All right. Game of Thrones by George R. R. Martin.
Okay.
Classic
Winter
book.
is coming!
Winter is coming. Like, it literally has it in the tagline, but it's a really good book if you are into sci-fi, fantasy. That is a good book for you.
Yeah,
You'll like it.
that is true. Did read the first one, and I really enjoyed it, so there you go.
I think I
Alright.
read the first 4, and then I was
Okay.
like, "Okay, this is a lot."
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're big books.
Okay, I'm gonna share 2 that are kind of similar, and I did not love these. One is Five Total Strangers by Natalie D. Richards. It's a YA, like, a group of kids stranded at an airport, rent a car, and are trying to get somewhere, and of course, stuff happens. I didn't find the ending plausible at all, but it was a popular YA thriller a few years back. And then The Crash by Frida McFadden came out last year, and it was one that was a miss for me, but it's a pregnant woman's car breaks down, and this man, like, offers to take her to his house, whatever, and his wife's there, and things just aren't quite what they seem. But I feel like it was way too predictable on that one. So there are 2 that I did not love. Alright, do you have any more?
Say, I'll go with one that I didn't love. It was The
Okay.
Ledge.
Yeah,
We
and I
read
love
this with
her,
our
I
book
love
club.
her.
And who is the author?
Stacey Willingham. No, that's wrong.
No.
Sorry,
Stacey
it's
Willingham I like.
I
It's
know, I love her, I'm
Stacey.
like, Stacey something else, Stacey Willingham, I'm sorry, I did not mean to say that. It's
We love you,
Stacey's
Stacey Willingham.
but we love this other one.
McElwyn
Yeah,
or
something
something.
like that, and we love her on the internet, she's adorable. As a person, we love her. We're
And
just
this
not
book just was not a hit for me. It was like there's this big ledge thing and like a chasm. I don't know. It
I
was too
know.
much. It was too much for me. I did
It
not like it.
was, but I think that was her first book too.
Okay. So
So,
maybe there's hope if you like her. But
I mean, I didn't
that one
read
was
any
a
of the
miss.
sequels, so
It was
yeah,
they were the Galatians. I don't know. It was
sure.
just
I don't know.
I think it was too much Ice Planet Barbarians. Not that I have read Ice Planet Barbarians, but it
Oh,
felt like
okay. It is nothing like Ice Planet Barbarians. But speaking
okay.
of Ice Planet Barbarians, I do, in fact, have that on my list. And if you do not know what this is, you were living under a rock. What was that, like 2020, 2021? It was
I
around
think
there.
so.
Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I think there's like 30 books.
Our
And
friend
it's
Allie has read all 30, I
all of
believe.
them. And I think all of another one of her series.
Yes.
And this particular one is about human women abducted by aliens and stranded on a frozen planet where they find love with large, horned, blue skinned alien males. And I agreed to read the first one with her, and then I did read the second of my own volition and then stopped. But I will say that's probably the only monster romance that I'll ever
That you've ever
read.
read?
It is all that I've ever read, and it
Did it pull you in?
it
I mean,
did.
you read the second one, so
I read the second one. It had a good love story. And then,
okay.
like, my understanding is it continues to go through the women that were abducted that survive. And by survive, I don't mean like it's hard to explain. I mean, I guess who cares if I give things away? Like they're on this and they're like left alone for a while. And so or like it crashes, something happens. I don't remember if they make it crash. So then like they're there and they're out in the middle of all this snow and there's nothing. And so it's like the ones that survive that we know of are the ones that left and did not just stay on the spaceship because they're out of food, all this. So, and then some died in the crash, I think. So they left to go try to find help. And that is my understanding from what I remember from 5 years ago.
Yeah.
All right, do you have any more?
So I'll just say 2 and then I'm done.
Okay, I think I have one more.
Harry Potter.
That was one I was thinking.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Love
Both of those are classic children's books, but they are so good, and they take place in the winter, and they're amazing.
They are. Totally agree. So Harry Potter was one of the ones I wrote down. The other one I wrote Little Women because at the beginning it's in winter, which I love that. But my last one, because we have to have the master herself, Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express. And I don't want to tell you anything because this is one of the best twists in thriller history. So if you have not read it.
It was a really good book.
It was so good. So well done.
I have like a hit or miss with Agatha Christie. I think I like her more recent stuff rather than her older stuff. And I think that was one that I did enjoy.
Oh, it's just so good. And speaking of Agatha Christie, among other things, our next episode, you guys, is going to be about rereads. And this is one just throwing out there. This is a book that I do wish I could read it again for the first time. I'm just saying, because once you know the ending,
I love that.
you
can't go back and recreate that.
You cannot recreate that because you know. Now, there are other thrillers, other Agatha Christie's that we read for our book club, and I had completely forgotten the ending and was convinced I remembered it. So some of her books I will forget, but that one was just so good. I didn't.
Well, I'm glad that we got to do this. I'm glad that we got to talk about some of our winter reads as we're frozen over here in North Texas. Hopefully everybody thaws out and no more snow, no more ice. Let's have nice summery days.
And then I could take another week off in February.
Yes.
Come back February. It's fine. Give us a couple weeks.
As a teacher, I'm sure that you're ready for a little bit of a break.
Although, you know what, I am I'm getting a little bored, Leyna. I hate to say that, because like 3 years ago, I ate this up because I was like, I will read 24/7. Well, my mental health was not in a good place, and my mental health is in a much better place, so I don't just want to sit and read.
You want to go do things.
I kind of want to go do things, but you bet your butt I'm not driving in this. So no one taught me how to drive in it, so no. Good job, Derek. So yeah.
It is a skill, for sure. All right. Well, make sure to check us out on Patreon to see our Heated Rivalry episode. And then also go to our Etsy. You can find all of our book reading guides. We've got some new ones coming out in February, so I'm excited for that. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you for listening to More Than a Book Club podcast. We are recorded and produced in McKinney, Texas.
Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening.